Hey, everybody, welcome to It Tastes Different Gaming Appetizers. Today, we're going to be discussing E3 and the lack of it. E3 has announced, due to ongoing health risk surrounding COVID 19 and the potential impact on the safety of exhibitors and attendees, E3 will not be held in person for 2022. This will be the third year that it has been a digital event, and it's rough for gamers. Man, it is our mini Christmas. It's fantastic. We love it. You know, the crowds and stuff make an event like this. So what do we think about it? I'm going to fire it over to Pat first because, I want to hear him piss. So, Pat, E3 digital event again. What do you think, sir?
I'm all for it because this means regular Joe like me gets to see a lot of E3 because we don't normally get to go to there. One, it's very cost prohibitive. You know, it's pretty expensive. I think it's like usually $199 for some of the cheapest tickets. And, you know, we're not a member of the press. I guess we can be now that we actually have a channel, but we have not gone because, you know, we haven't had a channel until COVID started. So we've been going along with our stuff ever since COVID's been around. And that's what's helped us start our channel, is that we were all getting a little bored, a little stir crazy, wanted to talk more about games and hang out with each other. And this is what we did. So I'm all for it because it means that normal Joes like us and everybody else who's not a member of the press gets to see more of E3, because E3 is technically locked out to the general public, what it has been. So this means that now we're going to get to see a lot more of it. So you can tune in online. You can stream some of their shows and some of their things. I think they still have some stuff that's locked behind a press ticket wall. But, you know, a lot more stuff is put out online since it is a digital event. It's just primed for digital deployment of everything, and everybody has access to that. So, you know, it's going digital again because of the new Omicron variant that's coming out, and people are getting hospitalized and stuff, and everything is blowing up. So it's it'll be fine. I think it'll be fine. It'll be good for these guys. I'm not sure they're making their money that they would normally make from the convention, but hopefully they can continue to do this, and hopefully the world gets back to a somewhat sense of normalcy in a year or so. Or we thought this a couple of years ago or 3 years ago now, and here we are. We're still here waiting around with it, waiting for it to go away so we can go back to doing the fun things we wanted to do before. I understand the reasoning behind it. They don't want to become a super spreader event and give everybody there COVID and kill a chunk of their attendees off. That's not good business. You know, you get no repeat customers that way. So, you know, but all joking aside, I do like that it's digital because we can all attend it. We can hang out and chat about it without having to run around and be all stressed out running around a convention hall. Because as much as we all love board gaming and conventions and stuff like that, they are stressful events. Like, you go to them, by the end of your day 2 or day 3, you're like, the week's over. Thank God. You know, I'm ready to relax. Even though it's super fun, it's just you're running 90 miles an hour, full bore, 200% just out there. So I'm all for it. I'm looking forward to what's going to be announced at this year. I look forward to E3 every year, just because we always get the stuff leaked out slowly. But when it's digital, we get it a lot quicker. You know, Nick, what do you think, man? What do you think about E3 going digital for year 3? E3 digital for 3.
Oh, 3 for 3. Bring it on. I'm ready for it. Yeah. I like the convention as far as like just seeing like all the stuff set up and all the props and various things like that, and just kind of like the atmosphere of the convention. But yeah, I agree. I mean, I like the digital event because we are all a participant in that event. Right. And you know, the odds of us being able to go to E3 is very low. So it's like, if we can't go to convention, then I'd rather have a digital convention where we can all participate and be a part of it and see the things and stuff like that. Like you said, Pat, you know, granted, more likely they're not getting the money that they were hoping for, because they can't put on a convention. But I believe they do have the press pools, that kind of the press has certain things that they can see that the public cannot see. So that, for IGN and all the Game Informer and all those places. And then we have the stuff that we can see together with the general public type stuff. So I'm all for it. I like it. I'm sure press probably likes it too, because they've always talked about having a fight, when they did have general audiences in there having to fight the general public just to get to certain conventions or play certain games so they can reflect on them in articles and various things like that. So for them, it's probably a good thing because they can still do their interviews, right? They can do their interviews and various things like that. We had it last year and it seemed to have gone on longer. I believe it felt like it did interview wise and stuff like that. But, yeah, I'm all for it. I get super excited around E3. I still love the whole E3 atmosphere and just listening to all the new game announcements and watching all the conferences and the interviews and various things like that. So I'm all for it. I don't mind if they do digital. It would be nice to see them go back to a convention, but for right now, it might be digital in the foreseeable future at the moment until we can get all this COVID stuff worked out. What about you, Shane?
I don't know. I'm kind of brokenhearted by it again. Like you said, man, E3, with the displays and the booth babes, which, they haven't had those for a little while because, people are stupid. It's the whole atmosphere of E3 that makes E3. I think digital, they've done a good job. So last year's was much better than the year before with the digital presentations by everybody, but they still lack the atmosphere, and that sucks. But I understand why, and I would rather people use common sense to get through this, and hopefully we can get through this faster if people stop spreading this crap, and this is one way to stop it. So it's a hard thing for me because I do enjoy the crowds and the lights and all that. In digital, the biggest problem I've had with the digital ones is the fact that they give you more commentary about the process of creating the game, talking to the guys that put it all together piece by piece. That they play way too much of that. I mean, it's really neat how a game does come together, but I don't want to have 5 hours of somebody talking, well, I created this mountain in the game by using this stick. I don't want that. I want to hear about the games, the multiplayer, the stories, the whatever. That's the problem I have with the digital events is they give you a little too much of that excess stuff that we just don't want. But they still do a pretty good job overall. So I don't know, but I would rather have a live event, but I am perfectly happy with them being safe. So.
Yeah, I don't think E3 can survive in a digital only footprint forever. I mean, the bad thing about it is just think about last year. One of the things that got to me last year, and I don't know if you guys had the same issues I did, but there was so much crap coming out. I couldn't tell what was coming out from E3 and what was coming out from all these vendors having their own little showcases going on at the same time. I'm like, are you kidding me? Because they had that footprint now, right? It's like, hey, E3 is all digital. We're going to release our own digital announcements and digital this. Because I think Sony started releasing crap at the same time as E3. And you're just like, are you kidding me? And then Summer Fan Fest started going, and the Summer Fan Fest crap. And you're just like, what's E3? What's not E3? I can't keep this stuff straight. Where is this information coming from? Is this coming from E3, direct from publishers, developers, some own weird little mom and pop convention that just came out of nowhere, some leakers putting out stuff that's getting mixed in? It's a lot harder to tell what's coming out of the E3 sphere because it's all digital. And I got confused a couple times last year, or probably more than a couple times. I'm like, oh, this was at E3, and find out, no, that wasn't E3. That was some game developer publishing something at the same time so they can get, gamers are all hyped up for E3. They're looking for game news, game information, everything. And now we got publishers that are just feeding off of that. And they're like, we've got all this hype. We're going to pump out the information on our game. I don't know if you guys had the same thing, but
I think I said that last year too. It's like you got these randos just milking the E3 atmosphere without pitching into E3. They should be smacked down for that because, E3 is for a gamer is a holy event. And, Sony's doing this too. Nintendo, I can't remember the last time I seen their Treehouse. I believe it was called Treehouse. They do that too, that they take the atmosphere, but they don't contribute to E3. And I don't like that. I agree with you. And then you get all this stuff coming at you. And it's like, did you see this at E3? No, it wasn't E3. It was Billy Bob and his, video he made on his Facebook. So it's just, I don't like it. I don't like those people.
And Jeff Keeley and his group, they're adding just, if E3 has to stay digital, they're going to have a hard time, Jeff Keeley, in my opinion, and his group did the Summer Fan Fest around the same time just to confuse everybody because I think it started last year, didn't it? Summer Fan Fest first year was last year. And that was like around the same time that E3 was going on. And I'm like, so there's Summer Game Fest, not Fan Fest, Game Fest, excuse me. Fan Fest is a Microsoft thing. The Summer Game Fest, which is Jeff Keeley and his group, was going on around the same time E3 was. And I'm like, is this part of E3? No, they're putting on their own crap, So I hate that aspect, and I think that aspect will continue, which will cause more confusion and more what's E3 versus not E3, because everybody's just trying to jump on the E3 hype train and stealing some of that viewership away.
Yeah, think about it. Sony doesn't do E3 anymore. Even when they were doing live events, they haven't done one for 5 years, I guess.
But didn't they do some announcement right around the E3 timeframe, I thought?
Exactly. They do their digital thing just to, milk off that excitement. And, shame on them for doing that. If you want to announce your crap during E3, your ass needs to do it at E3. Plain and simple. I mean, don't milk off somebody else's work. That's what they're doing. Shame on you.
What about you, Nick? Did you feel the same way, or were you able to keep it all straight and all that kind of jazz?
Too much jazz. That's what
Too much jazz.
No, there was a lot of information. It was kind of information overload. And yeah, I agree. It was kind of hard to keep track of who was releasing what. I don't know. I like all the information. It is a lot, but when it comes to video games, I want as much info as possible, except for the stick in the mountain. I don't care about that. But yeah, I mean, developers are going to do that. They're going to use that E3 time. I think Jeff Keeley is trying to make Summerfest basically take over E3, right? Where E3 is no longer there, and now he has Summerfest. Or we all say, "Oh, can't wait for Summerfest." What about E3? Well, newer gamers are going to be like, "What's E3? We're talking about Summerfest." And it's like, okay, so hopefully E3 can grab that banner back and say, "No, this is our thing." And it would be cool, instead of Jeff Keeley trying to take over E3 or put his Summerfest at the same time, is put it late or a different time, like maybe later in the summer, or like a spring fest or a fall fest or something like that. That way we get E3 and we get something else later on. I know after E3 there's a lot of shows. There's the Tokyo Game Show, and then there's the one in
Gamescom.
Gamescom, Germany, and then Jeff Keeley then has the Game Awards towards the end of the year, and and stuff like that. And then
we should just do something in January.
Then we have CES, which does have some things. Well, January's got CES, which does do some gaming,
but
other electronic stuff.
But we do get gaming stuff out of there, though.
Yes, we do.
Still get gaming news and stuff out of there. We just got some pretty good ones. I mean, that's the PSVR.
He could do a spring fest, because what happens? Right. Nothing happens in spring. So.
Right.
That's true. Spring's kind of bland.
Yeah. So we have at the end of the year we have the Game Awards. Jeff Keeley and them, or we have that, and then we have Summerfest, which is new starting last year in 2021, and then they're going to continue this year. Now, I think it's still in June. I think E3 is in May, maybe. I think May. I can't remember the dates of
E3 was in June.
E3 is June. Typically, it's like June 6th to the 12th, kind of a range.
Is it still in that time frame for this year? I didn't know if it was still in the. in the time frame. But regardless, yeah, they're too close together, in my opinion. So they need to, and I think that's intentional by Jeff Keeley. I honestly do. He's stealing hype from E3, and I don't know. I feel bad because E3 has been around forever. Maybe it's just me not wanting change. Right? Is Summer Game Fest better than E3? I don't know. I don't think so. I honestly like you guys said, I do like the hype of watching the convention halls and all the people, and I would love to go one day to experience that because I love going to conventions. But like I said, they are a lot of work and they're a lot of people, and I don't like being around a lot of people. So but I will tolerate them for the experience, for the experience. I'll do it for the experience. I mean, everything's for the experience, right? I am not a sports fan at all, but I love going to stadium games. To Wrigley Field, stuff like that. I love going to that stuff. It's an experience for me. I don't care. I'm probably going to get flack or stabbed in the back for this, but I didn't care if the Cubs lost or not. I just wanted to go to Wrigley Field, have a beer, sit in the stands, look at the Ivy Wall, check out the experience, just experience it. And the same thing for like Arrowhead, stuff like that. I just want to experience it. And that's what I want to do for E3. I probably won't remember crap about what happened there. It's just absorbing that experience. And I hope to have it. But with COVID, E3 may never return to in person. I hope it does. And I hope we all get to go together because that's when it's even better. It's even better together.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've been to Wrigley Field. I've seen the football games there, and it's okay. So
you watch football at Wrigley, huh? That was great.
No, but you're absolutely right. The experience of seeing it on TV compared to being there is never the same. It's a good example is watching a movie, a good, action sci-fi movie. It is never the same at home. I have a great sound system and a great TV, but it's not the same as a theater. It's just not. I mean, I just bought Ghostbusters Afterlife. I saw it at the theater, loved it, highly recommend. And then I watched it at home, still loved it, but it just misses the theater experience. Everything is about experience.
You didn't get to pay somebody $60 for candy and popcorn.
It was $128 that day we went and watched it.
That's the experience you need. I will be there and I will take your $128 and let you watch it.
So, but yeah, experience is everything with these events. So I really think they have to come back or E3 won't survive because people like Jeff Keeley is going to milk off of it and try to keep them purely digital because that's one thing he did really well with the summer events is he was able to get some good stuff and big stuff, but he also milked off the E3 hype, and that's pretty low.
Yep, I agree, and that's how he stole some of that stuff. Like I said, in my opinion, that's low, but that's his game, all right. I mean, I love the stuff he's done, but I don't like that he's siphoning off E3. Do your own thing, dude. Summerfest, cool. July, not June.
Yep, exactly.
I love the Game Awards, and stuff like that. But I think this is a dirty thing that he does.
Oh, and before we go, speaking of Game Awards, nobody knew who Sting was but me. So
I knew Sting.
You liar. We all knew who Sting was.
Very few people. These kids in the audience like, who's Grandpa? They thought some old dude got lost. Too much music for that crap. So please.
Yeah, we're not watching the music awards here, people, or the Screen Actors Guild. We're watching the Game Awards.
Yep. Just bring out Keanu Reeves, tell him to tell everybody he's beautiful, and show me the damn game.
Right. We don't need to see the halftime football show with all the music and everything.
Exactly.
You probably could have killed the show an extra half hour early if you didn't show all that crap.
Oh God, yeah. It was ridiculous, all that extra bullshit. Garbage, pardon my language, but it just pisses me off that the show was really long and so much of it concentrated on the wrong stuff, non-game stuff. So, But anyways, back to E3. Bring it back to life. People, let's stop spreading this crap the best way we can. And let's get back to some sort of normality because I want E3 live.
For sure. E3 is a co-op experience.
There you go. You and 100,000 of your friends who can pay $1,000 a ticket.
I think the cheapest tickets are normally like $200.
Now with these scalping bastards, I'll get them all too when they fire back up live.
I should say they have starter tickets at $200. That's the starting level.
It gets you through the entrance.
Yeah. But yeah, I think E3 needs to come back to life. And do you guys have anything else? All right, everybody, thank you for listening. Let us know what you think about E3. What are your thoughts on the digital event? What are your thoughts about E3, period? Again, thanks for listening. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, hit that notification. Give us your comments, your feedback, and we will see you next time. See ya.